15 years ago, Staff Force officer Derrick McManus was on a routine job to arrest a known fraudster, Tony Grosser. Accompanied by 4 other Staff Force members and another policeman with a camera filming the footage you're now watching, they were to arrest Grosser because he failed to show up at court.
The police, Mr. Grosser, open up, please.
But within minutes of arriving at Grosser's property, the routine arrest turned sour and Derrick's life would change forever.
Grosser, it's the police.
What eventuated was, and still is, South Australia's biggest siege. Within minutes of arriving, McManus was gunned down. Over the next 40 hours, 2,000 rounds were fired.
You've approached the house and within 5 seconds you're hit with 14 bullets. Was it the quickest 5 seconds of your life or was it the longest?
There's only 2 bullets that I can actually remember hitting me. As I walked up to that sliding door, all I knew was I was falling to the ground.
McManus eventually staggered away from where he was hit to the corner of the house where he found a protective spot. He lay there for the next 3 hours, slipping in and out of consciousness.
Did you ever think for once though that he was going to come out and finish you off?
That was my first thought. Throughout my 3 hours of lying on the ground, there were times where I was holding my pistol with my finger on the trigger the whole time, but I would take my finger off the trigger and just make sure I could still move it if he did come out.
But Grosser wouldn't leave, bunkering down in the roof of his house, firing at anything that moved.
We're still hearing shots from a high-powered weapon.
Roger. Many shots. Bullets whizzing everywhere.
How long was it until backup arrived?
It was about 2 hours 40, 2 hours 45. At the time they came in, they would risk their lives to come in and get me. They knew that they weren't fully protected and they were risking their lives. They still came in. They are the heroes. There's no 2 ways about it.
But one other hero in this story was Dr. Bill Griggs from here, the Royal Adelaide Hospital. Dr. Bill Griggs would eventually come to the aid of Derrick and would spend 10 minutes by Derrick's side as round after round of bullets flew over his head. So Bill, talk us through that 10 minutes that you spent next to Derrick, lying on the ground. How harrowing was that 10 minutes?
It was a pretty nerve-wracking time. In retrospect, we probably shouldn't have been in there. We probably wouldn't go in there these days. But we ended up in a little bit closer to the house where the gunman was than we really wanted to be, and we had police officers around us providing covering fire.
Is it still today one of the worst medical scenes that you've ever had to work in?
I think Derrick was one of the sickest patients I've ever had to look after who's actually survived. I've seen a number of other people whose heart was stopped. Derrick came very close to that, and I think if it actually stopped we would have struggled to get it going again. His heart rate slowed right down, so it was almost stopped, and then it sped up again after we gave him some fluid. He'd almost lost all his blood. I still actually don't know how he survived. He's an incredible human being. He really had no recordable blood pressure. I couldn't feel a pulse anywhere. When I initially saw him, he was white as a sheet, and I really thought he was dead. It was only when he took a sort of last gasping breath that I thought he's right on the edge. He hasn't quite gone yet, and maybe we can do something.